place I see in my dream.
Hey Squirrelies, welcome back to another episode of CNC Explain It All. I'm your girl C1.
And I'm C2.
Yes, and as always, we got to start with our comfits. So, in honor of today's episode, I am wearing my Hercules sweatshirt pullover, and it's got the muses from Hercules. Obviously, these queens are amazing, amazing voices. One of my favorite movies, one of my favorite, absolute favorite soundtracks, and one of my favorite pullovers. And so it all just blends in as one. What are you rocking over there, C2?
All those favorites. I love it. I
Mhm.
have decided to also wear a super comfy pullover, and this one is in the celebration of Disney World's 50th anniversary.
Hey,
I
hey.
happened to plan a trip there, a mother-daughter trip with my mommy
Mhm.
during their 50th anniversary kickoff, which was really, really cool. Totally unplanned, and we just got lucky. So happy to have been a part of that opportunity. And today, we are happy to have all of you with us. Obviously, we're setting the tone for something
Yes.
exciting, and we are going to be explaining to you all When You Wish Upon a Song, which is going to be a three-part series that we are really excited about. It's not going to be consecutive. We are going to have these episodes planned throughout the year, but we are going to talk about Disney music and the impacts that it's had on our lives. And I know that it's had impacts on all of your lives. So we're just really excited to share in this moment with all of you.
Yes, absolutely. And so with the three-part series, we're going to focus on the different eras. And so we want to make sure that we give enough time to each of those eras, which is why we broke it up into the little pieces. Now, today is going to be the pre-1990s. Now, to all my 90s babies out there like ourselves, we know that the 90s were amazing and the best. But there was a lot of Disney, obviously, history that came before then, right? Before that time, it was the foundation of Disney. So that's the area that we're going to focus on today. And each era had a different vibe, right? If you think about some of the movies and some of these different things that we're going to go through, you'll notice commonalities. You'll notice commonalities in how they're created, how they look, the style, like all those different things, which I think is pretty cool to when you look back on it and actually see these movies grouped together in a list. It's kind of cool to see how those similarities come out and kind of remember those movies in a different way.
Absolutely. So, something I want to remind you all of is that we're really talking about the Disney movies that had music that changed the world. And as we're talking about these pre-1990 movies, I really want to highlight that storybook warmth, the innocence, the optimism, the music that felt like lullabies. It felt like the book that you'd cuddle up with at night and your parent or a close relative would read to you as you're falling asleep. And it was just soft and warm colors. And these are your very original Walt Disney, like hand-drawn flip book type cartoons. There's not a lot of depth and detail to them, but they're beautiful for what they are. And back in these movies, it was a lot of wishing and magic.
Absolutely. So some of you may not know, or I mean, I'm sure there are amazing magical people who know all these movies by heart and know what eras they were in, what years they were published and or released. But then you got people like myself who don't and have no sense of time in certain moments, like pre 1990. So we put together a list just to give everybody a little bit of a cheat sheet, if you will. And for those watching on Spotify, For those watching on Spotify, I'll give you guys a little bit of an idea. Well, I guess you can't watch. You're listening. I mean, if you can watch, that's also awesome, and maybe you have the deluxe premium version of Spotify. But if you're got the basic Spotify like myself, I'll give you a little idea of what's in these different eras. So first, first time period, we're talking 1930s and 1950s. So think Snow White, Pinocchio, Dumbo, Bambi, Peter Pan, Sleeping Beauty, the classics, right? Then we've got the 1960s to 1970s. We've got 101 Dalmatians, Mary Poppins, The Aristocats, Robin Hood, Peach Dragon, The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. I didn't know there was a crossover movie, but apparently there was. And then the 1980s, The Fox and the Hound, The Black Cauldron, The Great Mouse Detective, Oliver and Company, and The Little Mermaid. So some really, really good movies and true classics, like Court was saying.
Yeah, and honestly, building off of what my dear C1 was saying earlier, putting some of these movies into perspective of when they actually came out is mind-blowing to me because they do live in their own timeline. They are absolutely timeless. We look here at some of the movies that were out between the 1930s and 50s, and those are the movies that made us. They are the baseline of what Disney is today and what it will continue to be as it grows into the future. And thinking about having a world of Disney that doesn't have these movies in it, like the Cinderellas, the Peter Pans, the Sleeping Beauties, the Snow Whites, just those pure classics that we got some of the incremental Disney characters from. I am just mind blown with where we are at as we are now approaching some of the 100-year anniversaries for those movies.
Which is wild to think about, right? You have to think about the various versions of each of these movies. So, you see some of these movies on this list, or some of the ones that I mentioned, and you're like, "There's no way." 1930, but the version that you probably saw was probably the fifth version since then, right? But you know the story, you know the characters, but the story is so much deeper and has such a deeper, richer history that goes far beyond when we started to recognize what Disney was or who Disney was or what this world was about. And I think that's the really interesting thing. I also, not to take it down a really random path, but who would we be if we weren't going down random paths? Um, I also think about a lot of times like the even like the controversies, right? With some of the earlier movies that Disney brought about. Now, right, there's always conspiracies and myths about everything in every type of media. But I also think it's interesting how something so simple and so magical, such as Disney, still had, even back then, uh, what people would call controversies around, you know, themes in the movies and things like that. And like even as kids, you don't recognize any of that stuff. And even now, right? If I were to go back and watch some of these movies, I can't say that I would know what would cause controversy in these movies. But it's that's also a weird juxtaposition between these movies brought so much nostalgia and magic and just uh, imagination that it's hard to believe that at some point it wasn't like for some people it wasn't that. And so I think that's also the thing of why um like some of these the memories attached to some of these movies is quite interesting, and some of people's experiences with these movies are also different, and have different memories and different connections to them based on experiences of when you saw the movie, or the characters in the movie, or if there was relation like you related to the movie in any way, like all that stuff, right? That goes into any type of media format or form. It's really cool and interesting to talk about and think through.
Yeah, I also think too that when we think back to these movies, they're so simple. The storylines are simple, and the movie in itself, graphics, characters, everything of the sort is simple in a way that is very comforting.
Mhm.
However, there is always, just as in every Disney movie, there's some sort of tragedy, and
Yeah.
a majority of the time, somebody is eliminated from this earth. And
It's not funny. It's not funny, but
it's not, but Disney uses it in every movie.
yeah.
And with that, they really very calmly introduce that into our lives as children without us necessarily knowing exactly what we are
Mhm.
being exposed to, but doing so in a very calm way. So it's like I totally see the pull between these are the beautiful, magical, original stories that Disney created for all of us. It also introduced us to Cinderella. So, however, to reel
Oh.
that in, I do think that at least through the movies that are housed here within the 30s through the 70s, some of the ones in the 80s are a little bit different, but a lot of the music that is in the movies isn't necessarily a part of the storyline. It's
Mhm.
just a pause in the movie for musical effect.
Yeah. Yeah. Which again is interesting to think about as we continue to talk about the eras and the other parts, how that's going to show up with the music, and how the music is written and incorporated into the movies, as opposed to some of the earlier movies before the 1990s. And you know, speaking of music and magical moments and things that just stick with us, I mean, there's looking at this list. I remember when we like first pulled it together, instantly, just a Rolodex of songs, right, in my brain. Quickly, bam, 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 this song, that song. Some of these songs, even in my rotation right now, in the big old February of 2026, still there, top of mind. Specifically, I'm talking uh, The Jungle Book, Bare Necessities. Like, that is, I've probably seen that movie maybe 1.5 times. And somehow that song, Bare Necessities, has stuck with me. It's a fun memory of when I went to go see the remastered movie, in theaters. And I walked out singing that song. And all these years later, I still know the words to that song, which is crazy. And I, again, have not seen the movie probably since, it came out on VHS the first time. So, I think even though I wasn't born in the era of when these movies were established, it's so cool to see how those songs still connect with so many different generations years and years later, right?
Yeah, I agree completely. For me, one of my regular songs that is within my normal rotation on Spotify, it's one of the later movies on this list, but it is from The Little Mermaid,
Mm,
and it's part of your world. And there is a
mm,
really good reason behind this, and it actually shows like this generational shift of how these movies are just everlasting. They live in their own timeline. Well, when one of my sisters was little, she's 18 now. I'm sorry, she's 19 now. When she was little, she became just absolutely obsessed with The Little Mermaid. She was like
mm,
3 years old, which would have put us in like 2010. And at that point, The Little Mermaid has already lived through many decades.
mhm.
And she had like, that was when fat heads were really cool and they had the wall stickers. She had
Uh-huh.
Little Mermaid on her wall with Sebastian and Flounder. And on repeat, she's just listening to the soundtrack from the movie. And she's one of those kids that we were like, if you keep watching the movie, you're going to break the DVD. But she had that on DVD. She
Mm,
was one of those kids. And I think about, I was one of the kids that had it on VHS. And I
mhm,
grew up with the same music, and now I know every single word to that song. But it's like those things, they just stick with you. That nostalgia
mhm,
remains within you, and it's something that you want to carry forward. And then seeing the remake and just how
mm,
absolutely beautiful it was.
mm.
These movies are meant to just continue to grow with our generations, and I think that Disney has continued to do a really great job with doing that and protecting the integrity of the music along the way. So, The Little Mermaid was definitely a really big one for me.
Yeah, I mean, definitely Little Mermaid's at the top of my list as well, especially when the remake came out. Haley Bailey, her voice, literally the definition of magical. And I remember first hearing her, I mean, everybody, right? Like social media in general remembers when the trailer came out when she was singing Part of Your World and she hit that like note and they were showing everybody's like the kids' responses to it and just how beautiful it was. And I remember watching that trailer myself and getting chills. I had not watched Little Mermaid in a while, right? Like it hadn't been something that I had sat down and watched in a while, but hearing that song instantly, I was like, oh, like went right back to my childhood and to hear it reimagined like that. Um, oh, it was again goosebumps, chills. It was everything, um, everything that you can think of when you think about a classic Disney movie and a classic Disney song and how it can evolve. And then, I mean, I think my favorite song from Little Mermaid is Under the Sea,
Of
just because,
course.
I mean, I like when they're playing the playing the instruments under the water. Uh, and I just remember the fish dancing, and it's just a fun scene, fun song. And who doesn't like to sing like Sebastian? Uh,
Absolutely. And it's very like Caribbean. It's just really
yeah.
great.
Yes. Little Mermaid incorporated a lot of the Caribbean sound, and I think, which I mean, coming if you look at the progression of the eras, right? It's in the 80s, late 80s. So it's starting to become more contemporary, I guess you
Mhm.
could say, as opposed to some of the earlier movies and songs, which are a little bit more, I'd say, I guess, like classic Disney, very, like to your point,
Very
storybook.
classic
Yeah.
music.
Yeah. As opposed like orchestras and all that kind of stuff. And then you start to get into the 80s, and that's when you start to see, like I said, the contemporary part of it, which will lead into like the next era. So yeah, Little Mermaid, definitely. Another one from that era that I really love. It's from the Aristocats,
Mm,
a movie that I don't think gets enough credit. It's one of those
never,
that like,
never.
but the magical thing is that if I were to start singing a song from the Aristocats, more than likely someone's going to also know that song, but no one talks about the movie. It's the craziest thing. The
Mhm.
craziest thing. Like it has to be prompted. But quite a few classics from there. I mean, O'Malley the Alley Cat is my favorite. I will sing that all the time. Um, do not let your name be Thomas. Do not let it be Thomas. And then also, what's the other song? Everybody wants
Everybody
to be
wants to
a cat.
be a cat.
Yeah, everybody wants to. Yep, another really good song. And I just remember certain scenes from that movie and being a little kiddo, one of the first Disney movies we got, I can see the VHS case like frayed around the edges because when we went and traveled on vacation, that was always one of the movies that I took with me. So it was like beaten and bruised and just all the life. Like you could tell it had lived life with me. But one of my all-time favorite classic movies and songs that get sang on a regular basis.
I could honestly probably have a whole episode of us talking about the Aristocats because there's so many scenes in it that you're just
Yeah.
like, this is just permanently ingrained in my brain. Like the scene where there's like the drunk mouse and he's dipping the crackers in the milk.
Oh gosh, yeah.
But that's also a really good one that has like really good instrumentals that have lived
Does.
on because that do 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 do
Oh,
do
yeah.
that is all over TikTok like endlessly, and that is from the Aristocats.
Yes,
So it's like
yes.
these things that we just don't even think about, and they're so magical. I remember when we first got Disney Plus, that was one of the first movies that DJ and I turned on because we were like, oh
Wow.
my gosh, this is so
Mm.
nostalgic. We both grew up on it. I loved that movie. And even like the scene where the kittens are learning from their mom how to play the piano, or Marie is really paying attention to how to play the piano, and the
Yeah,
boys are being disastrous. But there's just so much good. And the
there is.
music, it kind of is at the center of that movie. It really does
Yeah.
drive that movie.
Oh my gosh. I just remember her going, I'm a lady. That's- I use that line all the time too. And you wouldn't think that I got it from a little kitten.
That's it. I remember I had
Oh,
an entire matching sweatsuit that had it was like white and
yes.
pink. and it had Marie on it. And on the back, this was when like words on the back were like super
Mm,
big. It said something about like all about my attitude.
yeah. She was great. I'm a lady.
I'm a lady.
Oh gosh. Oh, such a good one. Such a
Oh,
good
so
one.
good.
That's such a good one.
Um, I mean, when we introduce this episode, we have When You Wish Upon a Song, and obviously that's a play on words to
Hmm.
Pinocchio, really just laying the foundation of When You Wish Upon a Star. That is one of the Disney songs. You think about
Hmm.
that when you think about Happily Ever After at Disney World. Been there, done that, cried my eyeballs out watching that. I don't understand. My mom and I were there, we're experiencing it. Everyone's like, "You're gonna cry." We're like, "Why are we gonna cry? This is a fireworks show. Why am I gonna cry?" You best bet. Tinkerbell got up on on that rope line, and I lost it. I
Uh,
lost it
I
all.
can only I can only imagine. I can only imagine. Oh goodness.
One of the main songs is When You Wish Upon a Star, and that's again what this era is really about, is just wishing and hopes and dreams.
Hmm.
And I'm sure that I'll like tumble into this and future segments, but we became really demanding kids at one point. And it wasn't there yet. Like
Yeah.
this is not the era of demanding children.
Yeah. No, When You Wish Upon a Star, again, another song that I will sing randomly without prompting. But it's just like it's just a classic, classic, classic one. You know, the thing about you crying at this fireworks show, it actually it actually reminds me, I'm being sorry to go back, but like I'm thinking back to again Haley Bailey. So she performed Part of Your World in front of the Disney castle
Mhm.
with fireworks and everything. And when I tell you my eyes watered, like I wasn't even there, wasn't even there, but seeing her on that platform with the castle behind her, with the fireworks, the whole just the feeling of it, the soul in her voice, like
Oh my
the
God.
longing in her voice, it was just again a mess. We're going to reuse this word and terminology and phrase all over the place, but it was a magical moment. Like
Yes.
it was magical, and you do feel those emotions, and you're like, what? Like why? Like it's a mermaid, and she's a mermaid. Like why am
Because
I
of the
crying?
nostalgia.
Yeah, yeah. It was pretty crazy. I would say another one. This one, obviously, this movie is not underrated. Good old Pinocchio.
Of course.
Um, but I'm trying to think of. Now I can't remember what the song was. I see the scene in my brain, but now I can't think of what the song was. I'm gonna have to come back to it. I'm gonna have to come back to it.
Perfect. It's
But
great.
yeah, there's another song outside of When You Wish Upon a Star that I'm thinking about. Like I said, I can see the scene, but I'm gonna have to come back to it.
Yeah, well, I think of another one that really just built the foundation of Disney being A Dream is a Wish Your Heart Makes.
Mm,
And really that song and When You Wish Upon a Star, both, they don't really have anything to do with the movie. I think that they are examples of those songs that they're not a part of the storyline, they just exist.
mm,
And they could have been thrown in any movie at any time and it would have still made sense. Whereas, like some of the later movies that we'll talk about in our future episodes, those songs are really built into the plot. They are that part of the movie. And A Dream is a Wish Your Heart Makes really just made a major impact on the Disney that we know and love. And it really taught us about dreaming big and being able to allow yourself that space to have these hopes of what the future could be for yourself and thinking about how magic can be in the small moments. I was laughing as we were prepping for this episode because there were two moments in the last week where I happened to be in a place at the same time as a little field mouse running across different spaces of the outdoors. And these things are fast. What are the odds that I saw these little field mice just run across wherever they were? And the last time I walked into the house and I was like, DJ, I am Cinderella. I am Cinderella. That is where I'm at because that is the dream that my heart makes. And now I have become her because of the field mice.
Yes. And I promptly congratulated Courtney on her discovery of being Cinderella. I was like, congratulations. I hope for great things ahead for you. You and your friends. And then I think, I mean, another song out of Cinderella, The Fairy Godmother. Bippity boppity boo. Like, who doesn't remember that scene?
Mhm.
And or doing that to people. I love a good bop on the nose. Not so much anymore after COVID, but
We can do it to
yeah,
dogs. Nose boops.
yeah, no oops. There you go. If you have pets at home, give them a little bippity boppity boop. That's also like that's a scene that you remember. Like everybody knows that scene when she's got her wand and everything. And then I think about again, fast forward to the remake with Whitney Houston and Brandy, and again, just like another an introduction to the nostalgia in a different way, right? Hearing those songs in such a different way and interpret it in a different way is it keeps the memory lasting. And I don't think that all movies can do that. Like I don't think we need a live action everything. So Disney, it's okay. We don't. There's been a couple that you've released recently that were like, all right, settle down. I'm sure we'll talk about them in the next
We're
era.
fine.
Yeah, yeah, I know. Um, but Cinderella was a great one, and again, it was Cinderella. The cartoon is not a cartoon that I watched often. Like, obviously, knew the story, watched it a good one or two times, but the other Cinderella that came out was like my true introduction to it and understanding the foundation of the story, and then making me want to go back and watch the original again. So it's always fun when they make movies that make you want to go back to the original too, because you
Yeah.
did something right, for
Yeah,
sure.
I agree.
Um, but I mean, we haven't talked about the good old um, one of my definitely one of my favorite movies, 101 Dalmatians. Man, oh man! First of all, ladies and gents, when I saw this list, I was like, "There's no way Glenn Close was in this movie in 1960." But it was the animated version, guys. So yeah, not her version. But another who doesn't love a good deep voiced Corella Deville song?
Mm,
Like just classic villain, right? Like, ooh, one of my favorite villains
I
ever.
agree.
She is Queen villain. Now granted, Ursula's pretty, she's pretty up there as well. She's got some bops, but Cruella Deville, what a classy lady, that Cruella. But and she has a great song. I love singing her song. I the song I just remember like I see the scene of her like first introduction and her like black and white whatever car she had, like a limo car or whatever they would call those cars back in the day. Um, and her little cigarette,
The
her
fancy
little
cigarette.
her fancy cigarette holder. Um, oh man, such a classic memory. And then again, being reintroduced once the remake came out, which made me love the movie that much more. And then they continued to make several hundred thousands later. It's like, okay, now we're at 106 Dalmatians. This is getting weird. But another one of my favorites and another classic song that, interesting enough, the villain song was more popular than a lot of the other songs.
Yeah, I loved 101 Dalmatians. One, because it's about dogs,
Yeah, of course, of
of
course.
course. But two, it was just another one that was on repeat for me. And I really liked that the villain was just this, for lack of better words, drugged out woman. Because she really was. She was
Yeah,
just crazy.
some struggles.
And they did a really good job bringing that movie to life in some of the like real type movies that I'm lacking words right now.
Yeah. Like live action?
Live action, real
Yeah.
type. It's fine. You knew what I meant.
Yeah,
The live
they're like
action movies that they've had, and with the most recent being the one that starred Emma Stone.
yes.
And I'm telling you, that movie was just such a really great feeling of a crossover between 101 Dalmatians and The Devil Wears Prada. And
Mhm.
I loved every part of it and the way that she brought Cruella de Vil, and the music was just
Mhm.
absolutely like engulfing for the movie. It just really, really brought it all together. And little baby fun fact is that the car that she drives is a DeVille.
Oh, yes. Yes, because on her license plate, it's yeah, it
Hmm.
said DeVille, but it was like devil. Yes. Disney, you
Dun.
clever. You clever.
Clever.
Um, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Loved it though. Loved it.
Mm.
And my little random drop here that has nothing to do with this episode is please go watch Devil Wears Prada 2. It comes out in May.
Oh,
I
yes.
can't wait.
Yes. You haven't seen us talk about remakes.
Yes.
There's an emergency topic about it. We're talking about all the remakes that are coming. Practical Magic is getting picked back, guys. Just we're just gonna go through the whole line of movies that we talked about. That one's getting pushed back, but it's coming.
Squirrel.
Hey.
Um, but
Yeah.
one that we haven't talked about yet either is the classic of all classics being Snow White.
Hmm.
And there are songs in Snow White we all know. We all know Hi Ho. We
Yeah.
all know Whistle While You Work.
Yeah.
We might all know Someday My Prince Will Come, but I think we know that the two dwarf songs more than that one. And this
Uh,
movie is so basic. It's so basic. When you watch it, you are like, wow, I could draw those characters myself. And what's
yeah.
really cool about this one is this one in my family has lived through many media generations
Mm.
in full obsession mode. So I had this movie on VHS when I was a kid,
Hmm.
and then my middle sister had it on DVD when she was a kid. And then my baby sister became absolutely obsessed with it a couple of years ago and was streaming it on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
So it is
Yeah.
another timeless moment, and we all know to hike and sing hi ho, it's off to work we go. Do, do,
Yep.
do, 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 do.
Yeah. Also, I didn't know that the actual movie was called Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. I thought it was just Snow White. I mean,
Saucy dwarfs.
yeah. I mean, I apologize, but I thought it was just all about Snow White's show. So, I mean, it makes sense. Good for
It
them.
it does. And
Good
I
for them.
think like with that movie, again, going back to like the basics, something that I didn't mention was just how basic those songs were. We repeated the same line
Oh,
over
yeah.
and over and over and over and over and over and over.
Yeah.
Repetition and plain language. That was it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, basic, basic, basic Becky's. That is first one, right? Like one of the first big ones. Um, One that we also haven't talked about, but I also sing probably an annoying amount of time is from Alice in Wonderland.
Ah,
And that's the good old the song by the rabbit. What's his? I don't even know what his actual name is.
Mad
That's
Hatter? Is that him? No, it's not. Nope.
no,
The Mad Hatter is someone else.
yeah, the Mad Hatter's the Mad Hatter.
Thank you.
Just the rabbit. I don't know the crazy rabbit with the clock, which a meme with him has resurfaced. Which I don't even know if I know the actual meaning of the meme, but there's an image of him with the watch that's resurfacing that means something. We'll have to look it up later. But
His name's the White Rabbit.
oh, so I was close.
Yeah.
I just forgot the white part. So the white rabbit, not just the rabbit. My apologies. My
Yes.
apologies, Mr. Rabbit. But his classic song, golly, oh, I just hard to talk about it without singing it. But Well, he references being late several times for a very important date. He can't say hello. He's got to say goodbye because he's late.
He's late.
I
He's late.
when I am running late for anything at any point in time, that is the song that immediately comes out of my mouth without fail.
Mm-hmm.
Every single time. You know what? I wish the creators of these songs and the writers and producers and the composers of these songs got royalties every time their songs came out of my mouth, because some of these movies from this era, they'd be racking in money. I mean, it'd be like 0.08 of a cent, but they'd still be getting some money, because I that one is used on a regular. Not that I'm late every single time, but when I am late, that is the song I am singing as I'm running out of my house, for
Yeah.
absolutely sure. Which now, I mean, you guys have kind of heard. I mean, we could go through several of these movies, right? Like, you guys have heard the songs that really stood out to us as kids, and how it fits in their lives and how they've kind of moved with us through our lives, even though we weren't born in that era, and how it kind of introduced themselves into our Disney journeys. I think there's a lot of movies on there that also are they're like big movies, but you don't remember some of the songs from them, which I also think is interesting. I loved Oliver and Company. I could not tell you any song from there, and I watched that movie more than some of these movies that I remember the songs from, which is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also, you think about what about a song makes it stick the way that it sticks, and sometimes it's the scene that it's played during, and sometimes it's the melody, and sometimes it's the orchestra or the choir or whatever it may be. So there's several movies on there that we didn't talk about. So we would love if there's movies like Dumbo or Bambi that you guys had songs that you really liked. Put it in the chat, put it in the comments. Any of the other movies that were on there, Lady and the Tramp, The Black Cauldron, like any of those movies. Obviously, Winnie the Pooh was on there. Now, I don't know. I had never heard of the Peach Dragon and Winnie the Pooh, the crossover event. Like, I didn't know
I
that was
don't
a
think
thing.
that that's real. I think that might have just been the way that it pasted over.
It was it was the same line. Is
I
it
don't
not?
think it was
Okay.
real.
That makes sense then. That makes sense, guys. I thought it was a crossover event, and I was like, that's kind of exciting. Crossovers were happening in the 60s and 60s cartoons. All right, that makes sense. So obviously everybody knows the Winnie the Pooh song.
Winnie the Pooh.
Hmm. You see how my arms I wasn't even singing it. I was already on beat.
Yes, you were.
Uh, but yeah, there's so many movies from that era that we could talk about. We would love to hear what are some of your favorite songs from some of those movies, if they match our songs. Um, any of that. Give us all the love for this pre 1990s era of storybook telling and basic concepts, but memories that live on forever. But to close it out, since we have clearly reached the singing portion of our show, we'll play a little game. We'll do a little bit of sing it, skip it, or
Hum it.
hum it. I was
Yes.
gonna say kick it. Hum it makes more sense.
Pick it.
Yeah. And some of these songs we probably already sang, but the object of the
But
game. Yeah, go ahead.
don't we have the option to expand our boundaries for this one?
True. Explain.
So, we've already had so many songs on here for all of you, and we've already shared that we're going to have many episodes,
Hmm.
but we were considering keeping it a little fun and airy and introducing this series as a whole and having the option to maybe bring in some songs that are just Disney.
See, yes, indeed. So we'll do a couple. Like I said, the concept of the game is you can either sing it like full on belt, as some will do. You can skip it because maybe you know what, maybe your voice is not ready for that song quite today, right now in this moment. Or you can hum it. Just do a little get it right. Get the humming right.
Little baby hearts.
Um, so we'll do a little bit of that. Obviously, I would hope that everyone would be able to play along with us, especially if you're listening to us in your car. This is a perfect time. I know I love a good old karaoke situation in my car. So if you're listening in your car, you can play along. If you're listening at home, you can for sure play along. But it's just a nice little way to wrap us up and end out this era, part one.
I love it. So I think that means that you're gonna go first, and I'm gonna give you a song.
Sure. I'm ready. I stay ready.
Okay, your song is Be Our Guest.
And guys, we don't want to get copyrighted, so it has to be very quick.
Quick.
Very. Oh, okay. Now, do we give like different interpretations of this song? Like, can I turn it into like a soulful ballad, or do I have
Please
to
do
like?
as you please. I think the words are all that matters.
I kind of want to like even dance with it. It's like
Go
a
for it,
nice
girl.
song. Let me get my microphone. Be a guest, be a guest, and that's all you get. That's how you get it. That's
We got the point.
copyright. Copyright. You
My
got
random
the.
squirrel moment on that is that there was definitely somebody on the red carpet for the Grammys that looked like she could go date Lumiere because she looked like a duster.
Be a guest. Did I get the voice right?
You did great.
Be a guest. Thank you. That was a good one. That was a good one. I like that one. Let me see. Let me get one for you. Oh. We're gonna do. Should we name the movie that it's from? Obviously, Beauty and the Beast for that one.
Not Beauty and the Beast.
Oh
Sure.
yeah, Beauty and the Beast. Okay. I'm gonna give you "You'll Be in My Heart."
Mhm. I love it so much.
Such a good song.
Okay. I'm gonna go on and on about this when we actually get to that point, but Phil Collins did not have to go that hard.
Oh, you like spoiler alert.
You'll be in my heart. That's all you get.
Yes, you. Okay. Yep. That's all we get. That's all we get.
We've picked songs that repeat the title multiple times in the chorus.
Yeah. It's all about the tone. It's all about the tone. That's all. That's
It
all.
shows that you know the song, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
All right, all right, all right. Let's see here. Oh, Aladdin, A Whole New World.
It's so funny because the songs literally start
I know, with the
with
title.
the title. So it's literally just us reading it in a sing-song voice. Uh,
Yes,
wait, yeah. You said, wait, what song?
A Whole New World.
Okay. I could show you the world. So I tried to get in the middle of the song.
You did so good.
World. I could show you the world. Was that better?
Beautiful. 10 out of 10.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That's the actual lyrics, right?
Yes, you did great.
I was very confident. We're gonna bring it current
Ooh.
ish. Uh, good old try everything. Utopia.
Oh. Oh.
Guys, I'm a gazelle dancing.
I'm Shakira.
I know. Wasn't she a gazelle?
I think so.
Oh, great. I was wondering
Yeah,
why I saw a gazelle
I
dancing in
do
my head.
think it was a gazelle. Yeah.
Great.
Yes.
Uh,
So
uh,
many
uh,
memories with that song.
try
And
everything.
Zootopia. Like, we're going to talk about that.
It's coming, ladies and gents.
It's coming.
It's coming.
Are you ready for the final round?
I'm ready for the final round.
Okay.
Bring it on. Bring
We're
it.
gonna do Cheetah Sisters by the Cheetah Girls.
Where's my like velour outfit
I
and
know.
sweatsuit?
With the matching headband.
I know. We are sisters. We come together. That's all I got. 10 seconds.
You gotta have like the pump, pump.
We are sisters. That is also, I'm not going to go too in depth because I'll be able to talk about it long. I'm not going to squirrel. I'm not going to squirrel. There's stories I could tell.
There are so many stories I'm going to tell. Listen, guys, when we get into our eras.
It's going to be a whole thing. All right. Your last one is going to be, let's see. Why don't we're going to end it in the era that we talked about today.
Perfect.
Hit us up with a little bit of everybody wants to be a cat.
Everybody wants to be a cat.
Hey. Isn't it when it's like someone doing ad libs in the background, like a cat?
Very,
The
very
bee.
like intro to reggae though. Like that was
Yeah,
very
somehow just incorporates itself in there every single time.
And like don't forget that there were two geese that were very prominent in this movie. It wasn't just about cats.
The geese?
The
There were
geese. The geese were in the scene with the do 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 do.
oh yes, because they're walking.
Yes. And they
Yes,
got bonnets on.
yes. And there was a little baby geese behind, right? Yeah. Okay, now I'm remembering. Yeah. I was like geese?
That was good. I could go on and on with that.
Yeah. I mean, any of these movies, right? Any of these songs, any of these movies.
Yes.
But I mean, this is about as far as this road goes, ladies and gents.
Like all good things, it must come to an end. Only for this pure excitement to just continue to build in us for these upcoming episodes.
Yes. Next, as you heard at the very beginning of the show, we will be doing a three-part series. Three, count them, 1, 2, and 3. And now we got 2 left. The next one will be the 1990s and up till about early 2000s. So we're talking the golden era of Disney. Yes.
The last era of Disney that was on VHS.
Yes. Crazy to think about. Crazy to think about. But hopefully, you guys enjoyed this conversation as much as us. Hopefully, you learned something new about some of the movies that are in some of these eras, or it brought back some memories for you, or some nostalgia for you, or you're listening and you're like, how could you not talk about that song on Bambi?
Yeah.
What songs were in Bambi? I can teach me something. I don't remember much about Bambi except for the sad part. So,
I think
so
that's why I
please,
stopped watching Bambi. It was too sad for me.
same, same with Dumbo, honestly. So,
Dumbo was all about depression.
as we talk about the trauma of the darkness of some of the movies early on, but teach us something new. Teach us about a song that we did not talk about. Teach us about a movie fact, a fun fact about any of these movies that are in this era. Come on this journey with us. This is just part one. This is it. Just part one. Part one of it.
And
Yeah.
tell us too if us talking about any of these movies made you want to go back and rewatch them so that way you could turn the volume up as far as you can to blast the music when the songs come on the screen. We'd love to hear that too. I know that there's some really good ones in there.
Yes, absolutely. Hopefully you go and this makes you want to go watch one. Yeah, like right immediately right now, Disney Plus, if you got those. If you got any of those VHSs, I wish there was a way, maybe on X, shows a picture of your VHSs. I'm sure I got a couple of them still somewhere, but it's been good. It's been fun. But as Court said, all good things come to a pause until next time. So until that next time, I hope you guys are able to get your blankies, find your movies, log into your Disney Plus, and get into some of that nostalgia. But until then, stay chaotic.
And stay comfy. Bye.
Bye.